felt like your best practice of the day, well, of camp so far, just overall, in terms of competition, intensity? Do you feel the same way?
I think we're getting better. I don't really, I don't want to get into, rating the practices, but I definitely think we're improving. I think they're approaching practice the right way, right? They show up every day with a good energy, a good mindset. They're trying to practice the way we want to practice, and I'm really happy with how they approach things, if that makes sense.
Bill, I want to ask you about the 30,000-foot view right now of the operations here and your team, and how are you feeling at this point going into what is this, your fifth day, right?
Yeah, this was 5. Yeah, I feel good. I mean, I think that I think this football team really works hard. I think we've got a lot of good players. I really do. I think these guys have they've bought into how we want to do things on and off the field. I really love the staff, the operations staff, the medical staff, the recruiting staff, the equipment staff, all the way around. Everybody's been very supportive. And so as long as we can all just continue to try to get better every single day, I think we're on the right track. But we got a long way to go. But I'm happy with where we are right now.
And for yourself personally, you're
Yep.
leaving the NFL, coming here obviously this year. Just in terms of the differences, it does seem like somewhat of a pro system that you're putting in place here. We're seeing Jack Del Rio and Rowan, all these other guys, and
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Is that the case? Am I reading into that, or is
No,
that
no.
inside?
We've been in the NFL for a while, some of us, and so we have a lot of people that we know in that league that want to come spend some time with us. We have 3 former NFL head coaches on the staff, and myself, Doug Marrone, and Rob Chudzinski. We're all, and then Jack's here, so we're all a member of the Fired Football Coaches Association. But it's been good. I think our guys are understanding again how we want to practice. The approach to it is a philosophy that's been put together over many, many years. These guys understand what we're trying to do. They're very smart kids. They come with the right mentality every single day. So it's been good. I've been really happy with how they approach it.
Just in terms of the practice schedule, it's 5 days off. Tomorrow's the first off day.
Yeah.
And then it'll go, I think, every day next week or close to it.
Yeah.
Just kind of what went into the schedule.
Well, what we did was when we reported, we had the day that we reported, and we had a lot of administrative meetings and things like that. And then the next day, we had a day off from practice. So that was counted as a day off so that we could get some football installation done. And then we started practice, the day after that. So we've already had a day off, if that makes sense. So I think the way we've laid this out is pretty good. Now, next week, like you said, will be a grind, but that's what training camp is. It is a grind. It's about trying to get, like I said the other day, like trying to get your body calloused to what the season is going to be. So it's about building a foundation with individuals and units, and then obviously the team. So I think we're on the right track with our schedule.
And the night practice on Saturday, if it doesn't work or whatever, just sort of what do you think that thought process?
I think just like, we play at night, the opening games at night. I think when these guys get into that stadium with the lights on, we've had our walkthroughs at night in the stadium, that excites these guys. So I think it's a combination of just, being ready to play at night, give them that experience. What's that going to be like just from the lights and fielding kicks and catching passes and having to play at night with the lights on, and then just the overall excitement of playing at night. A lot of these guys played high school football Friday night, Saturday night. So I think that'll be a good night for us.
Coach, is it refreshing to be at a practice like this, college practice, just a different energy than what you see at an NFL training camp around this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, college is different. Pro football, as you guys know, I've been in pro football for a while, and I love pro football. But there's a certain spirit in college football that's really pretty cool, and these kids are very spirited. They like I said, they really understand what they're trying to get done in practice, but they do have fun doing it, and so there's a good energy on the team, a good enthusiasm. It's not false enthusiasm. I think they really are genuine in their energy and what they're trying to do. So it's been good to be around that.
And 5 days in, how do you feel about the team right now?
I feel good. Look, we got a long way to go. I mean, but through 5 practices, I think we're getting better. There's definitely areas we have to continue to get better. Technically, we have to get better at understanding all 3 phases of the game, scheme-wise. There's individuals that need to continue to get better to really help us this year. But I think the team as a whole is in a good spot. I think they're in fairly good condition for this time of training camp. I think that they're understanding, again, like how we want to practice and our approach to practice. And So we're fairly organized out there, which is a good thing, and so we just got to keep trying to get better.
This is not intended to be a whole conversation about the transfer portal, but I look at this roster here, and a lot of these guys, I see other colleges
Yeah.
next to their names. What percentage of these guys are your guys, or guys that you've been able to get here, as opposed to were here already and are kind of, with the old system and are now coming into yours?
I would say that every guy that is on this team right now was here when we got here. There's nobody that's been, I mean, now freshmen came in, but they were recruited by the previous staff. To me, that's something that I preach to these guys all the time. We're one. We're a family. We don't really care where you came from, how you got here. We're trying to build this Boston College football program relative to who you guys are and where we see you guys being successful. And, our recruiting is in the 25 and the 26 class right now. So these guys that are here right now were brought in by the previous staff, and I think that's even better when you think about these guys buying in and trying to do things the way we want to do. It's a new way of doing things, and they've been really good about it.
One unit in particular has stood out, defensive line. That front four is obviously good, but there's depth behind them too. What have you thought about that?
Yeah, there is depth. I think that when you look at the first four guys with Donovan and Cam Horsley and then, George Rooks and Neto, I think that is a good front four. Those guys have worked hard to get better. They've definitely improved in the 6 months that we've been here. And then, when you look at the guys that'll play a lot, I don't even want to list them behind them, especially inside, like Ced McConnell, Owen Stoudemire. These guys are really good players. You got Josiah Griffin, Q Hutchins, Edwin Kolingi on the edge. You're right. I think we have some really good depth there, and I'm excited to see how these guys play.
Bill, last question for me is, how many of these positions are essentially up for grabs? I mean, are these guys at the position now? You've mentioned some names, guys who've been here, right?
Yeah.
Who've been starters or whatever. Can they get pushed by some of these other guys?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of competition on the roster. I don't think, if you look at running back right now, for example, there's some guys that are really playing well, right? You got Kai Robichaud from last year, but then you have Trayshawn Ward and you have Day Jones from right here in Boston. And then we got a freshman that just came in, Turbo, who's really had a good training camp. So you got four guys right there that are playing really well. So that's just an example. I could probably say that about a lot of different positions. Will Ozzie Trapillo start at right tackle? Yes. Will Drew Kendall start at center? Yes. But there's other positions that are definitely, I would say in competition for, no doubt.
Last one for me real quick. Health-wise, where are you guys at right now?
I think it's okay. We've had a couple bumps and bruises, nothing major, knock on wood, thank God. These guys have tried to practice on their feet, and I think that helps when they understand how to practice. Kind of like going back to the pro model that we were talking about. We're trying to teach them about playing on your feet. We don't do a lot of live things until we get full pads on. So I think it's been okay. Normal training camp, soft tissue things and things like that. But I think so far, knock on wood, it's been pretty good.
Coach, how much does it help having all these pro head coaches around? Does it set more of a professional feeling with the program? Do you think that's good for the staff, good for the players?
I think so. I mean, I think these guys look out there and you see, there's scouts here. We've opened up the practices to the NFL scouts as much as they want to come here. There's no real, they can come anytime they want other than the day before a game. They can come anytime they want, so that's one thing. Then, we have a lot of guys that visit us. We had Mark Whipple here today, Jack Del Rio, like you guys saw earlier, and then, we have guys with pro experience on our staff, with Tim Lewis and Darryl Wyatt and Doug Marone and Rob Chudzinski and Will Lawing. So we have a lot of guys on the staff that have NFL experience. So I think for our players to see that some of us have coached at the highest level, I think that's good. It shows that we're a competent staff. We know what we're talking about, and these guys have, followed our lead to this point, which has been good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.